Guys, what's going on? Jeremy Lafrentz, Backstage Entertainment on the bus of Static-X. Tony, Ken, how we doing today?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Doing great.
Now, a lot of okay, so we're on a little time constraint. You actually, in 10 minutes, you have another interview.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. So if you get out of the interview, we know why. But how do you?
Don't mind me.
Exactly. Well, I said our interviews are pretty informal. We can do kind of whatever we want. I said cuss, whatever. But then, Ken, you said you're going to be a little subconscious now.
I'm going to be shy now.
Right.
It's
we're
like
going to
being pea shy, except with curse words.
Yeah, pea shy. That's a real problem. Do you have it?
No, I'm just old now.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it, whatever. Yeah. So a lot of times, you guys have been through many interviews before. You get the standard questions. How is the tour going? Is typically the first one that you get asked. But I want to ask, how is the tour going as expected as you thought when you were doing this project?
It's actually gone better.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say like 3/4 of the shows have been sold out. Turnouts have been amazing. Fan reaction has been incredible. Yeah, it's exceeded what we thought would happen. So yeah.
Whose idea was it to really start this back up and do this 20th anniversary Wisconsin Death Trip tour?
I guess you can blame me for all of this.
Blame or thank, whichever one we want to do.
Yeah. I guess I had the initial concept of just doing a memorial show, and then like, oh, why just do one? Wayne had fans everywhere,
right?
So let's take it everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was basically the genesis of this.
Yeah. So was it really? Was it hard to get everything in motion when you guys started this off? Was there anything legal-wise that you had to go through to do this and make this happen?
Well, there are a lot of different hurdles.
Right.
Some legal, that I don't have time to get into.
Well, yeah, do another interview with just that, I'm sure.
Yeah, but yeah, there was a lot of things to overcome, and a lot of lost things to be found, and so it took a while, but I think we've managed to pull it off.
I talked about you guys doing a lot of interviews. I'm sure you've been doing a lot of interviews this run and everything too. Has there been any kind of weird questions that's come up or whatever? Or let me ask you this. Is there any question off the table in interviews right now?
Generally, we're just keeping everything positive.
Right.
There was a lot. Unfortunately, the last 5 or so years of Wayne's life, he wasn't in a really good space. He was deep in the throes of drug addiction, and there was a lot of animosity going on. And I really don't want to focus on that stuff. That's not why we're doing this. We're here to remember Wayne for the guy he was, and remember all the good times we had with him back when we started doing this 20 years ago. Yeah.
So we're making it a positive thing, right?
And the only other thing that we haven't answered is who's the guy behind the mask.
Well, right.
Yeah,
and I've seen. I wasn't even going to ask that or anything because I know you guys aren't going to. So here's the thing: are you ever going to say who it was? Because, is it something after the tour, or is it just? It'll always be just because it's a remembrance of Wayne.
For now, and Tony said this quite often, and it's really where the head and the heart of the band is this is about the 20th anniversary of Death Trip, and it's Wayne's memorial. Mm-hmm. So for that reason alone, we're just not even focused on the future. Right. We're just taking this. It's an old cliche, but taking it day by day, it's all you can do, and it's a lot of emotion for us too. Yeah. So to focus on anything that could come in the future, we kind of can't do that.
Right. So here, that leads to a good point. We take to our social medias and ask people what questions they want to ask. Then we usually give them shout outs and everything. Mm-hmm. You typically, you just really answered it, but in case there's anything you want to add to this, Josh Littell, come on through.
Sure thing.
Got a jacket here?
How are you?
No, we're good.
No.
You're fine. There's.
They're in the middle of the
I like some of this stuff. This is
casual.
Yeah, exactly. There's an edit button.
It's not mine.
So see, this is Backstage Entertainment. We show you backstage, and we're trying to figure out whose coat this is now. But anyway, we go back to our Facebook and everything, and so Josh Littell asked, what's next for Static-X following the tour and the new album? Is it just one-time thing to honor Wayne, or do you guys plan on staying together? Which you pretty much answered, but is there anything to add to, because I saw, what was it, a Loudwire interview where I think, Tony, you just said you're not opposed to doing anything after, but there's nothing set in stone yet.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right. Mm-hmm.
So really nothing to add. You answered it. You know, we're good to go. I think somebody else might be coming in here too.
What the heck?
Yeah, come on now. Come on in.
You're good.
You're good. You're really.
Middle of an interview. Just leave it at.
So this is what happens in interviews is you get people, it's fine. And we love this because you know what? You guys are living your life too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, if you weren't doing an interview right now, what would you be doing? You know, just hanging out? Napping?
Yeah.
I was going to say at the beginning, hey, what should we do if you weren't doing an interview? Let's just do that. So I don't think we can really nap together.
Yeah.
We kind of, no, we can get, I mean, we can get a shot of the bus and everything. I mean, you guys, I'm sure, if you ever had a bus invaders, you know, thing, have you ever done one of those?
Have you ever done one, Tony?
I don't think so.
Seems to be a popular thing is people like to see, you know, how you guys live and, you know, the backstage look, and because people think it's glamorous and everything, but it's really not.
You've seen one bus, you've seen them all.
Well,
you know,
right.
They're all pretty much the same.
I know it. People think it's constant parties, women everywhere, but
This bus it's what, 13, 14 guys, and because we share it with Dope and we share crew with Dope, and not glamorous, pretty stinky, but it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughter on the bus, and that's actually been a plus for us. You know, going through the memorial aspect again.
Right.
You know, I can't. It's been a lot of emotion for us. But we've known the Dope guys for 20 years, so
Right.
it's been a lot of fun.
so you've had some time since this tour and when Static-X, you know, stopped for a little while. What have you guys been doing in the off time?
He's famous.
You're famous. You're famous.
It depends on who you ask.
Well,
I've been lucky enough to play with some of my favorite bands.
yeah.
Got to play with Ministry, Prong, Soulfly, Max and Igor Cavalera, Possessed, Prong.
List goes on and on,
Yeah, I've been lucky, man. I've been really lucky.
Yep. Ken?
For me, I've been actually teaching drums for the last 15 years.
Okay.
So, you know, jumping back into touring, you know, playing drums for a band that you were a part of and built this thing, and teaching I was able to play a lot for the last 15 years, so it was just kind of altering my playing a little bit and getting in a physical shape good enough to do this, you know. So I quit teaching at the end of February and just started focusing on this.
Right.
You know, we'll see if I go back.
Yeah, this really is a full-time gig once you get out on the road. I'm sure it's hard to teach drum lessons. I've seen those, I mean, sometimes they'll post about it like, hey, I'm going to be in this city, I'm going to do this thing.
Sure.
Come on in. You're good.
Well, and we're out with Devil Driver, and Austin is actually, he's got a little electric kit, and he's Skyped a few lessons. I'm not, you know, I prefer to be in the same room as far as teaching goes, but you know, he's a pretty advanced drummer, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Yep. Speaking of remembering Wayne, you know, when you got word of his passing, do you guys remember where you were and all that sort of thing? And
Yeah, sure, I was home.
yeah, you remember getting that call and your emotions? I mean, what was it like?
Yeah, it wasn't fun, man.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was shocking. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you hear about bands that are band members and it's just a job. Were you guys really close as friends with Wayne?
Yeah, Well, and this, I mean, I met Wayne in the fall of 1988. I was, 22, 23 years old. He's a year older than me, and so it's, this year's a little over 30 years of my life that, so yeah, it was 5 years before we met Tony. 5, almost 6 years. A little bit later that year, we met Koichi, So, Wayne and I'd been through a lot of crap together, and that was the thing, is even, you take the band aspect of it away, and we were really good friends. And lived together for a while in Los Angeles, so for what happened to him was just so strange, because he really wasn't that guy when I met him, and for a majority of his life. So it was tough to deal with.
I'm sure. So we had the honor in 2012 to interview Wayne and Tara on their bus when you guys were coming through Omaha, Nebraska. And since that interview has been posted, I mean, it's got something nearly 50,000 views on it, and you get certain comments and everything. I'd like you guys to clear the air on this. So some people, even recently, have been saying that Tara wasn't a great influence on him, but in the interview, it kind of seemed the opposite. Backstage and everything with him, do you guys feel like it was a good influence on him, or what do you think?
I was out of the band in 2003, so I can't tell you.
And even
that.
through friendships or anything, you don't know how that kind of was going.
And you know what? That just goes back to that thing about remembering all the bad times, and that's not why we're here, man.
Right.
We're not here to talk about that. We're not here to focus on the negative stuff. We're here to remember Wayne for the guy he was, and celebrate that.
And that's the message we want fans to know. This is a remembrance. So, it sucks out there where you get the negative comments and everything. Something you guys probably deal with even today, but you just got to push through and do the positive, right?
Yeah. So far, the response has been so great.
You got it. You got it. All right, we're down to Ken here.
So far, the actual physical response from the crowd has been so great that we haven't really had to deal with that. But again, after 2003, I never saw Wayne again.
Yeah.
Never talked to him again. So I just go along with Tony on this one, where he didn't want to focus on that, and I get it too. Regardless of what happened, this band was, and that album were things that we built,
right?
And so we're focusing on that, and it's been a great experience. Good.
Yeah. So the tour, it sounds like, is going better than you guys could have imagined.
Yeah.
Okay.
We weren't. This band was never afraid of working, and our first tour cycle for the tour cycle for Death Trip was almost 3 years, and we didn't know we could say no to tours, so we just took anything. Then there were great tours, so we were like, heck yeah, let's keep rolling,
Right.
So we weren't afraid of the work, and we knew, there was a lot of work that went into it for the last couple of years just to get prepared to go out. But yeah, the response has been overwhelming and just really amazing, and so we're pretty happy with it. Yeah.
All right. So one of our key components to our interviews is we have what's called our BSC box over here, and I told you in the beginning, okay, we're gonna get this out later.
Got it.
Tony gets the opportunity to miss it, but that's all right. So here's what we do is we have fans, find our socials. We've got all the socials that anybody else really does, and they submit their own questions for any band we interview. So it's kind of generic questions. So it's kind of, people call it the fortune cookie or just the grab box. So if you want, you can reach in there and answer probably 2 to 3, and then we'll get you on your way.
Okay. Please give me a question. All right. So what's been my biggest accomplishment outside of music?
Just talking about drumming lessons, but is there anything else that it doesn't even have to be in the music industry?
Yeah, I mean, I would say retaining my sanity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still extremely close with my family and friends,
Right.
even though, even through all this touring and everything, and I'll count that.
Okay.
That's, so I think some people get lost in what we're doing, and while it's an amazing experience, you can't do it all the time. You kind of have to be normal.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's
Do
it.
that one.
Retaining
All right.
my sanity.
Got it.
All right, so
Good
we'll
answer
put that there. Plus, my sisters would have beat the crap out of me if I would have kind of gone off the deep end. Okay. What is my craziest hotel experience? Probably asking the wrong band.
Yeah. You guys are living on this bus right now.
I pretty much just go in, nap. If I try to, since our tour manager's sitting right over there, I'm a big fan of bathtubs just because, I'm middle-aged, so I like to soak in hot water because I kind of feel like I get beat up.
Yeah.
Drumming is almost like boxing every night. So,
Right.
yeah, no real crazy hotel experiences here.
Okay. All right. See, again, we're showing you that that's not an all glamorous life. It's just, you guys are hanging out just like anybody else would.
Yeah, and you have a day off in a hotel, and I'm kind of a private guy out this. I'll talk to anybody. I have no, I'm friends with everybody. There's no strangers in my life, but on touring, on days off,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the hotel, I read, watch TV, kind of chill,
Yeah.
go for walks, work out a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, nothing
You're
crazy.
living your life like anybody else would in your
Yeah.
shoes, probably.
Yeah, it's not, 8 balls and animals or anything like that. That's just not this band.
Right.
Okay. And I thought that was funny, so
Yep.
be an album title.
There you go.
If you could switch bodies with any person, who would it be and why?
Yeah, so you get one day to live as anybody else. Who is that person?
Man, I don't even know. I don't know that.
Tough
I can
one,
answer
huh?
that. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting question.
Yeah.
Maybe Usain Bolt, just to feel what that feels like to
Yeah.
go that fast,
Right?
and just be propelled.
And right when his Olympic race, like right at the beginning of that, just to
Yeah.
see what.
Yeah, and I know it's only 9.7 seconds, but he just fascinates me, like that speed, carrying that speed, or any athlete that's at the top of their sport.
Yeah.
I'm a big racing fan, so in IndyCar and Formula One, so anywhere where, like, if I could go to Le Mans and train with a driver that's driving down the Mulsanne Straight at over 200 miles an hour, I'd do that.
Yeah.
I love the feeling of speed. So
You're reminding me of this. I think it was a Disney show back when I was a kid. I think it was called Jersey or something like that, where you could put on this jersey and be any athlete you wanted to be,
yeah.
and you could just be in their shoes and see what it was like. So that would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool power, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and you think about Dr. J or Michael Jordan. Those guys, were kind of like my heroes when I was a kid, and IndyCar drivers, and like I said, just that feeling of a top flight
Right.
athlete. I'm just fascinated by that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Dipped into the box. What'd you think?
I survived.
Yeah, you
What
survived.
the heck?
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, no, it wasn't awful.
No.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I like the decoration.
Yeah, right? Kind of fits our logo here a little bit. We try and be a little creative there and out of the box. Speaking of box. Anyway, last message for the fans out there. I mean, I could say, say about future plans, but we don't know those yet, right?
Yeah, I think right now it would just be fitting to say, thank you so much for the support. You know, we were never, when we went into the studio the first time, we weren't overwhelmed by the experience. We had known Ulrich for a few months and were prepared, you know, but we had that little bit of emotion the first day where you're like, whoa, we're making a record.
Yeah.
And it's for a major label, you know. But if you would have told us then that 20 years later we were going to be going out and doing this, and that for some reason that record, that little record, just resonates with so many people. Yeah. I mean, it's really, you know, we do these meet and greets after the shows every night, and so many people have come up and said, you know, your music helped me through such a bad time in my life, and that's been a consistent thing. And you know, because you don't know what you're leaving, you know. Right. It's just you do this art, and in our case we wanted it to be fun and different, and we didn't try to be different. We were just all weirdos, and yep. Here we are 20 years later, and people are like still just really yearning to hear it, and that's amazing. I think the other thing we're surprised with is how many people we toured for so long on Death Trip, and you know, there were certain cities we played all over the United States where it's, I mean, 14, 15 times over this 3-year period. And we get so many people coming up to us in these same cities saying, you know, I couldn't see you the first time. You know, I've never seen you. And I mean, they love it, but it's kind of a little shocking because we were everywhere those first 3 years. But it's amazing. It's been a great experience. Right. And it's also, you know, Wayne's family, his youngest sister came to Atlanta, and she's been the liaison between the family and Tony, and who we get approval from to do everything. And then the family came to the Grand Rapids show, and Amy flew in for it. And there was just a huge sense of relief after that. I mean, we knew we had to treat this the right way and everything. And the fan response has been great, but once the family was there and able to see it, you know, and we all broke down after the show. Yeah. But we sat and talked because, you know, we all were close, and it's kind of come back to what it was when we first started. And so yeah, thank you all. Thank you for your support. And if you keep it up, we might have to do this a little bit more.
All right. You might.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see where you guys go from here. So again, stay tuned for all that. Mm-hmm. I'm sure announcements may be coming here towards the end of the tour or after, and you guys will decide what to do from here.
Yeah. That's. I mean, you know, Tony's got other projects. Koichi's got a son. Mm-hmm. I do still have students, you know, but we'll have to see, you know, if any offers come in and where we go from here.
That's right. I think that's a good thing to leave them with, is to just stay tuned, I guess. So,
stay tuned.
So hopefully, to be continued. Again, Jeremy from Backstage Entertainment, Ken, Static-X. Check them out, guys.
We asked about the recordings, Wayne's recordings, like how that was uncovered, or what.
How it was.
Where did they originate from?
Yes. Okay. So let's talk. Okay, we can add this in and stuff too.
And that's really a Tony question, but I'll give you the answer he gives.
So then I can edit this in and everything too. So the new album, Project Regeneration, is coming out, and there's Wayne's vocals.
Yeah.
Were the vocals obviously weren't meant for this album because of his passing? What was the original intention for his vocals that are on this album?
Well, he and I've gotten this from Tony, because Tony's usually the one that answers this question, and Tony was given 5 or 6 songs from a producer. That was they had a mutual friend that was a producer. Tony got those, and there were some vocals and some guitar and programming snippets,
Got
for
it.
lack. And so that was early in the process. Now, because there was programming and guitar and a vocal, that stuff is easier to work with. That was how Static-X used to work. The
Right.
vocals were always they weren't an afterthought. Wayne would do rhythmic things, but he would only do a pattern. He wouldn't sing any words. It would just be gibberish. And he would bring a snippet and a guitar part to the band, and we all contributed,
Right.
And so for this, the second round of tapes that were discovered, they had to be kind of recreated. They'd been sitting in a hot warehouse for years, so
Right.
they could play like 5 seconds of it and then have to rewind it, play it to get 5-second chunks of
Right.
and none of the background music survived. It was just vocals. So that was a pretty painstaking process, and that's been one of the things that caused the delays. Also the other downside to that is, like I said, we never did vocals first. It was always songs, and then the vocals came after. And Wayne and I, especially with Death Trip, we would sit down. I wrote lyrics, and then Wayne and I would sit down together, and he would have the drum machine and the guitar, and we would figure out the rhythmic pattern for what
Right,
he was
right.
playing and singing. So obviously we couldn't do that.
Right.
So it's a little bit like working backwards for us.
Got it.
So that's what caused the delays. The other thing is, just trying to find the right label. Record labels now, back then and even now, we're a fairly self-contained band. Every t-shirts are designed by, people that are, tour managers and there's just all these resources within the band, but all the record labels now want a piece of all that. They want a piece of your touring, a piece of your merch.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you didn't do shit about it.
Right.
Why should we give you the
Right.
money for that?
Right.
All we need is somebody to put out the album.
Mm-hmm.
Distribution is. But, that's hopefully soon we'll have an announcement about that.
It's all
He's back. He's back.
Well, I told them I lied about everything, but I told them that this is what you told me, so. No, it's about, the discovery of the tapes.
Oh, okay.
And I told them that the producer had given you the original 5. Also, I forgot about, there were 3 songs that were demoed around the start of war era that were brought back.
That Ulrich turned me on to, and those came second, and then all the stuff that we found on the live machines, that came later, and we're still working on that stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Dipping back into the box over there?
No, I mixed them up because I think you ought to put him through this special torture on his own.
Yeah. So
No, I'm kidding.
I should.
It's not torturous at all. It's
It
just
can
a
be.
skull with a mohawk.
So here's the funny thing is, Ken, I didn't do this for you because I think we were just having a laid-back interview, but there's a second part to our box that I could try if you want to.
Yeah.
All
why
right.
not?
So let's do this. Tony, why don't you pick a question here? So this is like we call it our BSE box. Here.
Here you go.
Yeah, I'll get it for you. And it's like a fortune cookie, or like I said, a grab bag here. So you pick questions that our fans have submitted into here. So then there's a second part to this. So again, Ken, we didn't do this, but let's try it this time. So first, what's the question? We'll read it out loud.
What's the craziest thing a fan has done to get your attention?
Okay. So then 1 through 75, pick a number here.
75.
Okay. So you have to act out an action while you answer the question. And for this one, 75 is getting really cold, which it's like 100 degrees outside right now. So you're trying to get really cold, and here is going to be. But if you want to take a shot at it, answer the question as you're getting really cold.
Tony, you've got to do the introduction to poem.
Oh, we got the jacket we were looking for earlier.
I loved you in Unbreakable.
Craziest thing a fan has done to get my attention. I think I saw somebody out in the crowd, like crowd surfing with their prosthetic leg waving around, going, you know. That just jumps in my head.
That's happened more
Yeah.
than once.
We have
Yeah.
prosthetic legs mentioned in our interviews all the time. I swear.
Man, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
But it's
Sign is, we signed a dude's leg
Yeah.
in Omaha, Nebraska one time.
Yeah.
He's like, "Can you sign my leg?" We go, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
Whoa, shit.
Yep. Is AC standing back there? AC, are you standing over there?
No.
No. Yeah. He's patiently. He's next, so he's patiently waiting. You could just jump on in if you really want, but
We did have a guy crowd
As long as it's
surfing,
not
Joe.
awkward, I don't mean to
Working on
Crash
it.
the
yeah, or whatever you want. Yeah.
party, man.
Yeah. Who
Come on
cares?
in.
Yep. So again, Backstage Entertainment, pretty informal. AC, you're next,
Okay. I'm
and
next.
and you know we're interviewing. We're just hanging out. I feel like right now.
Okay.
So if you want, you can jump in and join in our crazy BSC box here.
Okay.
So AC, introduce yourself to everybody, and you know.
I'm Acey Slade, and I'm here with the band Dope.
There you go. And it's yeah, right. So it's funny too. I said, you know, we interviewed Wayne and Tara back 7 years ago almost?
Yeah,
Almost,
2012.
yeah, 7 years ago. And then the funny thing is the venue we're at now, I got a job. I was the entertainment supervisor here for a few years and had to quit doing the interviews because, of course, I can't interview bands while I'm working for you guys and everything. But our first interview back after I left that job was Ed Soul and Dope. So now we get AC. It's kind of fun to get multiple people in different bands too. So
Did he talk shit about me? Because it's my chance to
Yes, he did. I remember the entire interview was just AC bashing.
I
So
knew it.
here we go. Your turn.
Well, let me tell you something.
What? Okay, so what? AC, you've done some interviews and stuff too. Worst interview question you've been asked?
Well, actually, that happened recently, and there was a series of them.
This one
It
right
was-
now.
Yeah, right. let me have it.
Mostly when the person just isn't prepared. So I got one the other day where it was like, so this is your reunion tour. What's it like to be back with all the original guys? Well, this wasn't a reunion tour, and it wasn't the all original guys. And then she's like, so, but you guys are playing the first album in its entirety tonight. I'm like, we're the opening band. Like, we can't do that. So that's probably like just when the person just clearly hasn't done their homework.
Yeah,
you know.
See, that's what we at least. Okay, I do listen to you guys, so it's easier for me now to ask some questions relative to what we're talking about. But there are times I don't really know the band, but I like to do my research because that is one of the biggest complaints we get from bands is when I ask that is, do your research.
Yeah.
So here's a fun question for you. One of my favorites is Die Motherfucker Die on your, you know, on your list there. How come Kids Bop has never asked you to do anything on their records?
I don't know why that is, but I will tell you a funny story about that song. That song, while it wasn't the most lucrative album, it made two different charts that I found very peculiar. One was that it was in the top 5 songs used to torture people at Guantanamo Bay. And the other was songs played during the, I guess it would be Desert Storm when we had troops in Afghanistan.
Right.
And I have mixed opinions on that.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that, and I still don't know about the Guantanamo Bay thing. But as far as the soldiers in Afghanistan, I had a weird thing happen where I was. I used to play with Joan Jett, and the runner that was taking us from the airport to the hotel. After he dropped everybody off, I'm like, hey, I need to go to the supermarket. Do you mind taking me? Yeah. And he says, oh, no problem, you know. So I was like, okay, cool. And he goes, are you Acey Slade from Dope? And it's like, that's always weird to me, like when it's like Joan Jett was sitting right there. Like, you know, why would you care about me when Joan Jett was right there?
Right.
And I'm like, well, yeah, how do you know about that? And he's like, well, you know, I was a soldier in Afghanistan, and we used to listen to Die Motherfucker Die before we'd go into combat. And, you know, hated going into combat. Like, it wasn't like something we looked forward to. It wasn't like we were like, okay, awesome, we got our orders to go in and shoot shit up, because, you know, that means obviously people are shooting back at you, and some people aren't going to make it back. And we needed something to prepare ourselves and get us into a mindset to do something that we ultimately didn't want to do necessarily. And that changed my perspective on it. And that kind of, you know, made me comfortable with that.
It's always quite an honor when you get military personnel
Absolutely.
that tell
Oh, sure.
you that
Yeah.
your music helped them through their deployments. That's almost don't. I never have any. I don't have the right words for it, you know, because
Right.
it's such a big deal, and what we do is nothing compared to what they do.
Oh,
so.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're the bravest, I would say. Here's leading in that direction. Has there ever been a company or promotional thing that's come up to you guys saying, hey, we want to use your song, and it's just blew you out of the water?
Yeah, Slim Jim.
Slim Jim.
Did that really happen?
Yeah.
Well,
No kidding.
They approached Wayne about it, but he was a vegetarian, so he's like, nah, I can't do it.
And I was mad because I was doing Atkins at the time, and so I was like living on Slim Jims. Dude, help a brother out.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Acey, a dope song other than kind of what you just talked about?
I don't know. I mean, it was cool to see. We were in the Fast and the Furious, and we were in a couple of other movies, and it was cool to just like go into the movie theater and you're like waiting for the song to come in, and that's always cool.
Has it led you to meet anybody like on a bucket list for you guys? Like, oh, this has been awesome to meet this person because of my music?
Well, both these guys ended up playing with bucket list people, I would
Yeah,
think. Really.
True.
I mean, that's pretty amazing to me, and even though we weren't in the same band, you know, we've always been such good friends with Acey. When he got the Joan Jett gig, I was like, I know that guy. You know, and then, you know, the Misfits gig, oh yeah, hey, my friend's playing for the Misfits. You know, I mean, that was really, and Ministry was such a huge influence. So much prong in Ministry.
Yeah.
Tony's played with both of them.
Yeah.
And done albums with them. I mean, that just, I love that. That's that was, in a weird way, that was my bucket list, was to see my friends do well, you know?
Right.
And they did.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked about sharing this bus. Has it gotten pretty crammed? You guys have 13, 14 people, and I mean, you guys are all sharing a bus together. I mean, what happens when you guys fart and stuff? I mean, you guys just leave, right?
No, it's easy with that many guys. You can just point at somebody.
Well,
I mean,
true.
it's just, no, it's just constantly.
Is it more of a hangout session or rather versus fighting? It's just.
It's a lot of laughter.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been extremely easy. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of wanting your own personal space, but I am pleasantly surprised with how comfortable it's been, and our crew, God, man, like they're working their asses off. So, I mean, and those guys are up and off the bus by 10:30, and they're not back on till 12:30. So, it's not that, it hasn't been that challenging, and there's no drunks on this tour or anything like that. So, you know.
Yeah, all the bands get along great. Yeah. I mean, it's really been, it's been so much fun that it's been the most fun I've ever had touring.
Really,
you know, even when we were a young band trying to break the album, you know, you're so you've kind of got this singular focus of, you know, fame, and because of, you know, having almost 20 years away of it from it, and realizing that, you know, I was doing it for different purposes this time. It's just been a lot more enjoyable, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, being older and willing to blame my farts on somebody else is just always a plus.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome,
Yeah,
right?
that's
But there's a code, though. You never blame the farts on someone in your own band, because that's just like bro code, you know.
Gotcha.
So we end up playing a little bit of like fart volleyball. Static-X and the dope guys, they're on that side, we're on this side. You know.
Fart ball.
Oh, man.
More like ping pong, so you're doing this.
Yeah. Volleyball, little.
Foosball.
Yeah. Ace, you talked about personal space. I mean, with a bus like this, what do you have to do to go get your personal space? Because there's not always a hotel room that venues give you. Some do, some don't. Otherwise, I mean, what do you do?
I mean, I have a coffee company, so I wake up. I'm usually up. You know, I know that in the real world, like 9 or 10 isn't very early. I'm very aware of that. You know, I've been a working stiff too. But in this world, it's like I'm up at like 9 or 10, wake up, and I find a coffee shop in every town that we're in. Okay. And there's two reasons for that. One, I don't like to use the word competition, but I like to see what everybody's doing in that field, number one. But number two, just I'll get away and steal the internet and hop on my laptop and notepads. I set up a little office, and that's what I do.
So any coffee shops around the area you want to name drop at all?
No, man, they were all closed.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, it was like downtown Sioux City. Yeah, downtown Sioux City. It's like, I was like, is this a holiday? Like, it feels like it's like Memorial Day weekend. Right. Everything was shut. Really? I wish I could. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Sioux City, get your shit together.
I guess, yeah, definitely get your shit. Coffee shop, this should be open at like 4 in the morning. Come on through if you want. Yeah, we're informal. Come on through. Come on through.
Koichi Fukuda, everybody.
Yeah, say hello real quick.
No more wire hangers.
Stealing hangers, huh? I gotta confess, I do that too. When I go to a hotel room, they have such nice hangers. I'll take a couple just so they don't notice. But
he's very efficient. He brought those out with him.
Really?
Yeah. I actually waited till like the first Walmart. Oh, I need hangers.
Yeah.
Koichi's.
There's nothing worse than when you steal them though, and you realize that they got the hangers that hook into the thing.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
it doesn't have like the hook on the end, and the joke's on you.
Yeah. I'm gonna create our own video of this section and just say Static-X and Dope Talk hangers. You know, that's its own video. So I love doing that too because so we've been sitting here for 45 minutes doing this stuff. I mean, you went off and did an interview and came back. And so I put an interview out there. If it's just one video, they're going to look at, 45 minutes. I don't think I want to watch that. But what I've been doing lately is we create snippets during our interviews. And we can talk about, we talk about this, we talk about this. So then people have a realm if I want to look at a topic or something. So it makes it easier on the fans watching. What has been probably one of the most talked about topics, maybe off subject of the band, that you guys get asked? Anything come to mind?
Well, for me, what I've been doing with my life, because I've just pretty much, after 2003, I just pretty much left the business.
Yeah. Which we did ask that, so it's something we want to know.
Yeah. So, and I also, aside from teaching, the last 6 years I was in Los Angeles, I had I've always had really cool jobs, but it was a really cool job. I was a test driver.
Okay.
And it was mostly everyday driving stuff, but I test drove really high-end German cars. Okay. And got to take them up in the canyons and go around. And I'm a racing fan, so I didn't even care about the money. I just loved driving those cars so much. Right. Well, a little bit about money.
Yeah. Exactly. Are you still recording? I know it goes 30 minutes, then shuts off. So you got it. Okay. Dink, how are we doing on time? Are we good? Okay, I just say if you guys need to jump out, we can talk to AC. He hasn't done the box yet.
I told you, nap.
Well,
man.
Right, I said.
Where's nap?
You've seen people come in and out.
Get off my lawn.
Well, I gotta go poop too.
Okay, all right.
So I'm gonna jump out here.
If you notice, he looked on his phone. He's got a poop app. Yeah, that tells him.
Go.
It's a schedule.
So technology's taken.
Right about now.
Time to stand up.
Let's move. I'll give you some room, AC.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So now.
All right. Where's the light better? Should I be here? Or?
There we go. So just wherever.
All right.
We'll probably have to lighten it up in editing.
It's a hell of a tripod.
Yeah, isn't it? When we're like outside or just doing something, we can raise it even further. So.
That's good.
All right. I'll give you smoke. There you go. Fog is coming. Yeah. All right, so here we go.
Okay.
The ESC box. Our fans have submitted questions. Knock at the door.
Let's see.
See if it's Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I have guessed.
Who's gonna be the next cameo?
Yeah. Nobody?
Nobody at the door. They're just.
Let's be really short. It's
one of those
Yeah, he is.
doorbell ditches right here, huh?
There we go.
Is it for for these guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is William. He's front of house for Double Driver.
All right. Time to get to work, huh?
Right, boss is gone. That one.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Quick, we can talk about it.
That is the funny thing. I mean, when we do these interviews, I tell people, come and go as you want. A lot of like tour managers, they'll shut the door, interview in progress or whatever. But I like showing the backstage look at this because it's just a come and go, and you never know what's going to really go on. So.
Nope.
Okay, so again, BSC Box fans have found us on our socials and got questions into here.
Okay.
So there's a second part to this, which you probably kind of heard from behind the curtain a little bit, but
A little bit.
okay. So here's the deal: you're going to draw a question, read it aloud, and then I'm going to ask you to pick a number. So let's do that first.
Can I? My answer to whatever this question is, my answer to this question is going to be in bed.
Okay, perfect.
Would you change anything about your life in bed?
Damn, I wish it would have applied better to that one. This is gonna
Now,
be
hold on a
one.
second. Now,
There's
wait,
gotta
hold on a
be
second.
one.
So now you're going to pick a number?
Yep. So okay.
Ooh.
So again, the question. I was thinking about your in bed statement. So what's the question again?
The question is, would you change anything in your life?
Okay. 1 through 75. Pick a number.
1 through 75. Well, I'm almost 70 years old, so I'll go with 70.
70.
That's a lot, but-
Yeah, well, I would hope so. So you have to answer the question as if you won the lottery.
Okay.
So you're acting while you're answering. So we're going to show off your acting skills.
Oh, okay, great. So I got to ask this as though I won the lottery.
Yeah, or answer. Yeah.
Answer it as though.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. And
So
our
I gotta-
winning Powerball number tonight is 53.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what if you won? What would you act like?
Okay, hold on a second. If I could change anything about my
it's-
life, what
Thinking
would it
about
be?
the answer is the toughest part, right?
And then I got to reply like I won the lottery.
Exactly. So really you're going to be super excited.
Okay, well, this is
Yeah.
actually pretty easy.
Okay.
If I could change one thing about my life, I'd want to have $1 million.
You're just
How's
asking for 1 million? I mean, that gets you nowhere anymore.
I'd be okay with 1 million.
Yeah, that.
I would.
It's like Dr. Evil when he asked.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, he comes
yeah.
back from being from
They
the
laugh at
unfreeze.
him,
Yeah.
I'd be okay with $1 million.
Yeah.
Well, you figure at my age, I've got like what, probably 40 more years left. So, a million will do. So it's that like how much could I spend per year? At that rate, $1 million.
I would say if you had 5 million, you could be pretty comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. So this
All right.
asked for 5. Nothing too crazy.
Okay.
5 million.
Okay, I'd be alright with that.
Do you have kids to support or anything?
I do not.
Okay. So you're right.
Yeah.
Right there. All right, let's try another one.
Okay.
See how that process works.
Okay.
Yeah, we were more chilled and laid back with you. I figured.
I know.
We were just going to answer.
Well, that's the thing. He's much better at it.
What's
I'd
the-
probably act like Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park or something like
Gotcha.
that.
What's the first thing you look forward to when you get back home? In bed.
There you go.
Getting
that one
into
works.
bed.
That
Oh,
one
yeah.
works. That one will work. All right, 1 through 75.
Oh, 1 through 75.
You can let Ken pick for you too.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Ken pick.
All right.
32.
32. What?
Give him the list next time.
Oh yeah. You gotta look
Okay.
at this one. There you go.
I like 32.
32. You're out of breath.
I'm out of breath.
Yep. Answering as you're out of breath.
So I got to answer. So the question is, what thing do I look forward to when I get back home? And answer it out of breath. Okay. Snuggling with my cats. How was that?
Good. That was perfect.
Okay,
You
cool.
see, you got the process.
Cool.
So cats is your thing, huh? Not a dog
Yeah.
person?
Well, after living in New York City for 20 years, it's not really practical to have a dog.
Yep.
Plus, my cats are trained to use the toilet.
You do that too? Did you
I
train
use
them?
the toilet. I
Or
was
did-
trained to
well,
use the toilet too.
Yes.
But the cats are as well. And yes, I trained them.
Wow.
Do they
Yeah.
read
Yeah.
while they're on the toilet?
but here I'll even show
No
you.
thumbs.
Check it out.
but-
Hold on,
Mhm.
I got proof. Proof. Where are we at here?
Ooh, let's do shameless plug for your Instagram here.
Yeah, go to the Acey Slade Instagram. All right, I got terrible service here, so it's taking a while to boot up. But I will show you. If you go on my Instagram, you can see my cat's pooping and peeing in a toilet.
How
There
long
you go.
did it take to train him?
Well, the older one, he's kind of fat and lazy, and it took more like 4 or 5 months. And then the younger one, he's a troublemaker, but he's smarter, so it probably only took like 1 or 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to come in and say hi. The album out is part 2,
Oh, gotcha.
right?
Well, part 2's not out yet.
Well,
No.
yes, that's the one coming out.
Uh-huh.
Part 2.
Correct.
When you released part 1 and you named it part 1, that pretty much committed you to doing a part 2?
Yeah.
I mean, did you know a part 2 was going to happen, or did you just like, hey, let's just do part 1 and then part 2 is going to come out?
Well, I think I can answer this safely for Etzel because Etzel wrote the record.
Right.
And at the time, he was in a real creative spurt, and I think that he was in kind of a dark place. So he had 2 albums worth of dark stuff to put out there, right?
Right.
So he put out Blood Money Part 1 with the intention of releasing that darker material as a Part 2.
Right.
But one of the things that I've heard him mention is he's kind of in a little bit of a quandary now because you write your material when you're in a certain headspace, and he's not quite in that same headspace. So now he looks at this other material, and it's like, well, I wrote all this stuff with the intention of it being Blood Money Part 2, but I'm not that same person now.
Right.
So I think what I've heard him mention is that he wants to do it as an EP, possibly,
Okay.
or maybe just drop stuff as singles, because the one thing I'd heard you guys brush upon is that, record companies sucking these days and all that stuff, and it's a bit of a head scratcher as far as how to release product. I know
Right.
that our bands come from the generation of a full length record, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's a little bit weird because I don't know that I've seen too many bands from our generation release EPs or release singles and have it have the same traction as a full length. So I think that our fan base expects something with more substance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you feel, which you see this online a lot, do you feel like the genre of rock and metal is not getting the credit it deserves and more of the pop and country is stealing the show?
Music is so cyclical. Hip hop, rap, and country and pop are going through their phase right now. But hard rock or guitar driven bands, that never goes away.
Right.
And it's such a huge live show driven thing that it's cyclical and the thing is, the big difference now is those other genres are so single driven, whereas we're not. And it's kind of what Acey said, it's kind of, you have to, I joke about Kiss a little bit, but one of the greatest things as a kid was every year and a half going to get that new Kiss album.
Right.
And all the stuff that came with it. And I still kind of miss that. I hope that the industry never totally goes away from that,
Right.
just because it's fun. Your album may not be a concept album, but there's a concept behind the whole thing.
You're
and
right.
it shows where you're at as a human being at that particular time, and where the band is at. And so I mean, I hope that never goes away. I agree with him. You fans, I think that we're seeing that. I think that we are seeing a little bit of a rejection of the single driven market, because all of a sudden within the last 5 years you're seeing cassettes, 8-tracks, CDs, and LPs make a comeback,
Right.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you think rock is ever going to get out of this saying of rock is not dead? If you're saying it's cyclical, I mean, is it ever just going to be rock is back?
No, it just the general public, the attention span is shorter.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and that's a click right there by saying rock is dead. So, it is what it is. If people want to feed into that or buy into that, that's their own prerogative. To me, there's plenty of good music out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And to me, the other thing too is I feel like the same people that say rock is dead are the same people who get pissed off when Ramones T-shirts are available at Target. You know what I mean? It's like so which is it? Like I think it's just that people want something to bitch about sometimes, and you know.
Motorhead was in a Toyota commercial.
Yeah, you know, and I guess part of it is where we change as musicians is when I see Motorhead in a Toyota commercial, I'm thinking, thank God Lemmy's finally making some money, you know, or Iggy Pop in that insurance commercial. I mean, I'm happy that those guys are finding new revenue streams and things like that. But and I mean the other thing too is rock should always be a little bit dead. Like I mean I remember, you know, when I go to the gym now, right? They don't play any rock music really. Like maybe they will, but very rarely. And us rockers, like we kind of like to be underground. You know what I mean? We don't like to be mainstream. And I remember when I was a kid, like hearing a Motley Crue song like at the mall or in a shopping center or someplace like where general public is at. You kind of felt a little mad, like. I don't want all these people at Target listening to my Motley Crue record, you know.
Right.
That's my thing, you know. So,
yeah, it's a good point. I mean, you do have more of an underground scene, and that's kind of what the fans are like. So, yeah, okay. All right, well, I'm sure we've taken enough of your time. I mean, gosh, it's been about an hour between the interviews. We have a lot to edit now, but that's all right. Acey, why don't you give your final message? You gave your final message half an hour ago.
Yeah, I know. What am I still doing here?
Well, right.
Well,
I
I'm
thought you
holding
should have.
this.
Yeah, you should. That's right. Which one were you going to pick if you had picked one?
41.
Which one? What's that?
Talking like a news anchor.
Ooh, a news anchor.
talking like a news.
So, with your final message, talk like a news anchor.
my final message as a news anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what was his catchphrase?
Stay classy, San Diego.
Keep it classy.
Stay classy.
Wait, where are we at? Sioux Falls?
Sioux City.
Sioux City, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sioux City. They don't like that.
Keep it classy, Sioux City. This is Acey Slade, and keep it classy, Sioux City. How's that?
There you go.
You didn't do the one where they screwed up with the teleprompter.
Yeah, right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Would it be okay if I called Virus Sugar Tits? Is that what he called?
Tits McGee.
Tits McGee.
Yeah.
Tits McGee over here making a
Right.
sandwich.
Tits McGee making a sandwich without bread. Oh yeah.
So while we have Virus here, Virus, do you remember you've been in our interviews before when you were with Device?
Yeah.
And you did the box yourself. So I don't know if you remember that, but the box here with questions.
Yeah, I do remember.
Yep.
Someone else has that idea, you know.
Who do they?
Yeah, someone interviewed me in Dallas, and she had it was like a crystal ball filled with stuff.
Ah.
Stole your idea.
How long ago was that?
It was like 2 weeks ago.
Okay. See, we're innovative, I guess. So we'll see. We'll see. That's all right, though. All right, guys. Jeremy, signing off for the 11th time. Jeremy Lafrentz, Backstage Entertainment, Acey, Dope, Ken, Static-X. Check them out.
Brought to you by Golden Spicy Mustache.
Right.
I didn't know we had golden.
I kind of made that up. Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is Golden's.
Yeah, right.
That's my favorite.
Shameless plug. Goldens. Oh yeah, there you go. See, can you get that on there?
Okay, I think. I'm not sure.
No. Yes. Oh, just we talked about the Instagram too.
There.
We're peeing.
Yep. Frankie, and then there's root beer ready. He's gonna drop a deuce. Ready? Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Actually, that's a pee. I can always tell the pee from the poop. Kind of do.
Yeah.
And the thing is they can be a little temperamental about it. Oh, this is a poop. This is a poop.
Great
Yeah.
success. High five.
There you go. Ready? Oh, here it comes. He's opening up. There he goes. Oh, there we go. All right, Frankie.
There it is.
Do they flush?
No, that's the only thing. They don't have thumbs.
Yeah, but they could push down.
Well, they feel the need to use a thumb to do it, and they don't have one.
Get a Japanese toilet, automatic flusher.
I
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
No, be a good idea.
that'd be really cool.
Yeah. The only thing that's a bummer sometimes is like they can be a little temperamental. So like one time I went to use the bathroom and root beer was on the toilet, and then like I went to go in and then Frankenstein's like, well, I got to use the toilet, so I had to like let him go. because the cats kind of take priority. Because with them being temperamental, sometimes
Yeah.
they'll go somewhere they're not
Yeah.
supposed to. So I'm like, God damn it! Like I had to go really bad too. Now I got like another person to wait.
Well, I guess that's why we have tub showers, right?
Good point.
Yeah. Right,
What do
why
they call
not?
that? Waffle stomping when you try to squish it through the rain. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I saw that online last night. I'm like, I got to remember that. I
Yeah,
can't
I'm gonna
believe
use that tomorrow.
Less than 12 hours later.
Oh, we bring
waffle
it up.
stomping.
Did we bring it up? Okay, I think we can shut off the
All right,
camera
guys.
now. Perfect. Thank you guys very much for your time, and hopefully we didn't keep you from a nap. So, hey everyone, thank you for watching our video. Subscribe to us on YouTube to see all of our interviews and backstage footage. Also find us on our other socials by searching at BSE Rocks or by clicking the links below in the video. By becoming a fan of Backstage Entertainment, you can enter in contests to win autographed prizes. From Backstage Entertainment, I'm Jeremy Lafrentz.